Hey guys, it's that time of year again, and as you can see from behind me, I've already started gardening. Today I'd like to go over some tips on how to start seeds indoors under grow lights. One of my many passions growing up was gardening. Being in the garden, pulling weeds, not so much, but watching plants grow, being able to harvest fruits and vegetables, seeing the flowers in bloom, all bring back a lot of really fond memories. This year I started all the cool weather plants. And when I say cool weather, I'm talking about vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, plants that really thrive in the cooler temperatures. Because this tray holds 48 cells, I'm not going to plant the entire flat in one type of seed. I'm going to split this flat in half. Part of the flat I'm going to plant kale, and the other half I'm going to plant arugula. And this is the kale that I'm going to be planting. It's this red Russian beautiful kale that has this like beautiful magenta vein that goes through the center of each leaf. I actually love kale. And also this arugula. Arugula is from Baker Creek, and the kale, I believe I just bought this at a local hardware store. Okay, so let's start with the arugula. When I open the seed packet, I just cut the very top of it because chances are I'm not going to be using all these seeds at once, so it'll be easy for me to just store the seeds by folding it in half and taping it. So I'm going to just pour some seed into the palm of my hand, and having made little impressions in each cell, I'm going to just sprinkle a few seeds into each cell just to make sure that we get some germination. Most seeds, especially from companies like Baker Creek, they're very reputable, high quality seeds. I haven't really had a problem. The only problem I have is when and I've learned from this problem, is when I plant the seeds too deep, which is a whole other thing. I mean, most seed packets will tell you exactly how to plant the seed. I could tell just by looking at the seed, these seeds obviously aren't that large, so they wouldn't need to be that deep. Okay, back into the packet for further use. And then what I do is I'll get a popsicle stick and just lightly kind of cover using the same soil. It's actually seed starter mix. Covering the seed, and I just put it into each cell. And then with my fingers, just go back and sort of put a little pressure on so that the seed definitely makes contact with the starter mix. It's as simple as that. Next thing I do is I get a spray bottle with water and I just lightly mist, which is this is like really important to make sure that the mix and the seed stays consistently moist, not soggy, because if it's soggy, it'll definitely rot the seed. A lot of these trays also come with these plastic lids. You can cover it, and it acts as a little greenhouse. Sometimes when I cover it, I also like to just spray some water on the inside. It creates a little condensation. And cover it. You could also use plastic wrap, like a cling type of plastic wrap, or nothing at all. If you choose not to cover it, and it's not necessary to cover it, just make sure that it stays moist, and by using your spray bottle. Don't forget to label your seeds. So many times I've put seed into these seed starter kits and I forgot to label them, and I wasn't really sure what was growing. Again, I use these popsicle sticks, a Sharpie. I'll just mark kale. And then the back of the stick, I can write the type of kale, red, Russian. And I could just either place it into the cell or next to the cell. The thing about these plants and why they look so healthy and amazing, I mean, just look at those. That's from a seed. There's a secret ingredient, which I'm going to share with you. And that is, when I transplant these, I use the same seed starter mix, but to it, I add worm castings. Worm castings, I know it sounds gross, but worm castings I've discovered maybe last year is this miracle product, natural product, organic product that is incredible and has an incredible effect on the way plants. I mean, forget about fertilizers, forget about, it's natural. In fact, you can just buy the worms on Amazon, and you could just place the worms into your garden, into your compost, and you create your own worm castings. It's not just any worm though. It's not an earthworm. They're called red wigglers. But anyway, worm castings with the potting mix, incredible. So this is our cauliflower. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to be putting these out in the garden. This is cabbage, from a seed 3 weeks ago. This is called Tiara. There's 3 different varieties that I'm playing with. And then finally, we have our broccoli. Pretty amazing. So you can see how passionate I am about gardening, getting seeds, and not to mention, and this is probably the most important thing, that it's so inexpensive to do it this way. It takes a little time, it takes a little know-how, which comes with experience and practice, but for pennies, I mean, if you were to buy these plants in the garden center, think about, and the quality wouldn't probably even be as good, but think about how much money you're saving. And especially now when we're sort of thinking about food and food supply and food resources, it's the perfect time to start gardening this way. For more gardening, baking, and decorating ideas, visit me at celebrate365.com, hit the like button, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you next time.